Hello everyone and welcome back to Tree of Life Tarot. My name is Katie and this is your reading for the week beginning Monday, March 16th. So let's see what, oh my goodness, that is too many cards. Let's try that. I'm gonna shuffle one more time. So I hope you all are doing well. There is some serious weather going on right now as I am recording this. So hopefully that will not interfere. Also, a heads up that I am traveling this week, so the regular dailies are going to be a little bit, they might not happen this week, but we will be resuming regularly scheduled programming, oh Lord, next week. I'll do the best I can with what we've got to work with this week. Let's see. Top and 2 for the bottom. Okay. 3 of Wands. I hope you can see this. Fix this up a little bit. So this week, what else we have coming up? We've got the Pisces new moon on the 18th. That will be a nice, look at that right there, Pisces moon. As I say it, so it is. One and 2 for the potential outcome, Fool and Page of Wands. So love where we're ending. Bottom of the deck, King of Swords, we saw him twice over the weekend making an appearance. So as I was gonna say, love where we end, don't love where we begin. This is some tough energy to start with. So we've got 5 of Wands crossed by everyone's favorite nightmare card, the 9 of Swords here. So what we're looking at here is a lot of competing energies, a lot of, and when I say energies, I don't mean thoughts, I'm more talking in the realm of action and impulses with this. It's a lot of things wanting to happen at once. It's things vying for top position, top priority. It might be, what I'm hearing is a number of different pathways that all cannot necessarily be served at the same time, but all needing attention. And this is causing quite a large degree of mental anguish. This is waking up in the middle of the night. I'm sure you've all been through those stretches where there's just so much going on, and 3 a.m. you're awake and you're running your worst case scenarios and feeling guilty for everything you may or may not have done or may not have said. And all those stories are just spinning and you can't go back to sleep. And it usually lasts, at least for me, it lasts a couple of days, sometimes a week before it passes. But if that's you, and if that's you up, or maybe even finding this at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, my sympathies are with you, but also remember, this too shall pass. This is, real competing energies, but this stress, it's a mental state that is, I don't want to just say it's resolvable and, like it's no big deal, because it's a big deal. If it's affecting you in this way, it's a big deal. But tarot is about finding the way, and that's what we're going to do here. So, surrounding our current stress and predicament and too many things happening and too many things competing and too many harsh energies in the world. I mean, many of you may well be affected and feeling, just the world events weigh heavy, whether they're directly impacting you or not. So, lots of reasons for us to be in this state right now. So, recent past, we have the 9 of Pentacles, which is a lovely energy to be in. So that means there's good resources around. This is not something that, you might feel as though you've left the garden a little bit with this anguish going on. But that garden is not far away. You're still there. We've still got all the pentacles. So, but that feeling of being where you want to be, of being surrounded by everything that you love, of feeling resourced by everything that's around you, that may have diminished because there's, maybe for some of us every day we can sit in the garden and feel like this, and wouldn't that be a dream? But life intervenes, and sometimes you got to lose your balance a little bit, and I think that's a little bit what's happening here. So near future, we've got the Knight of Pentacles, which is a move towards restabilizing. There's a sense of having to leave the garden a bit, taking this pentacle out somewhere. So what do you have to give from what you've acquired here in the garden that's going to help with this journey? And when I say give, it could be give away, it could be give to yourself. There are resources here to draw from for the journey ahead. So one thing, I got this from a friend, her therapist said, make a menu of things that are stabilizing, nourishing when you're not feeling good. Because when you're in the moments of not feeling good, you can't necessarily think of the best solutions at that time. So if it's a helpful exercise when you are in a more abundant, stable, happy state of mind, write out the practices, the things you have, the pieces of gratitude, and keep that sheet of paper so when you fall into these places, you can go reference that and remind yourself of it, because you won't always be able to access it when you're in that tough energy. And I think that's a little bit what this down here, Eight of Swords, Nine of Cups, is speaking to as well, but we'll come back to this in a second. So anyways, Knight of Pentacles, resource for the journey, but has somewhere to go. Top here, crowning energy, we've got the Four of Pentacles, and that Four of Pentacles came out almost every day last week, so it's still active. So Four of Pentacles, we could be talking about holding on too tight, about holding on to what is familiar, and getting a little stuck, not wanting to take a risk. And I'm leaning in this reading towards holding on to what is familiar and not wanting to take the risk. Because this reading is asking for a little bit of movement. Not a huge risk. Not this is, even though we end with the Fool here, this isn't throwing caution to the wind. It's just a little bit of movement. So bottom here, what's going on beneath the surface? This is very interesting energy to have side by side, the Eight of Swords with the Nine of Cups. This is sort of satisfaction, fulfillment, can be a card, a bit of overindulgence. That's something that needs to be watched. And with the Eight of Swords here, let me just feel this for a second. There might be some guilt is actually what's coming through a little bit. There might be a little bit of guilt around your own pleasure and not wanting to leave that pleasure, but also possibly feeling like the tension between wanting to serve, wanting to step out, and also wanting to enjoy what you have. And I think this pentacle, this Knight of Pentacles here, it's all, I'm getting the image of like a funnel effect of everything that's been acquired is being brought back out now. It's being brought forward. It's being brought to a point. It's being condensed and consolidated into that pentacle. Excuse me. Because And what I'm getting here again is a little bit of, there's been some stagnation. Some stagnation has built up around where have you gotten maybe a little too comfortable. And that's no judgment in that statement. We all get to a point, you work and you struggle and you go through the things and you get to a good place and you want to stay there. We don't want to have to go through the struggle again. You just went through the struggle to get there. And so then there becomes, though, like an efficient and a deficient stage to everything. And like, think about that infinity symbol. It's like you ride it all the way down, you got to go up, then you got to go back down again. It's like this constant flow between like being comfortable, being in your garden, and then having to kind of let go of what you know, go through another round of lessons, go through some growth spurts and some challenges that go with that. It doesn't have to be a huge deal, but it's kind of that dance. And it looks like we've kind of gotten to that dip of the comfortable place. So now we're holding on to what we know. And under the surface, there is a fear of letting go, of releasing, the pleasure, of releasing, the things that bring you comfort, of being in that like cradled place. A friend of mine, I love what she said. She's like, we go through these kind of periods of like loss and stripping back at times, and you go back into the womb, but then you have to get rebirthed, and nobody wants to go through that process. It's bloody and it's painful, and all of a sudden you're in like the bright lights, and it hurts your eyes, and it's loud, and you'd rather not have to go through that. You'd rather not have to be shot back out into the world. So that seems to be a little bit of what's going on here. Nevertheless, we are on the move. We're gonna have to let go of what we're holding on so tight to and to what's familiar. And he's taking the pentacle with him, as I said previously, resourced. Not going out there blind. We'll come to the Fool in a moment. I know, I can hear you all saying, but the Fool at the end. But we're not going out there blind. We're taking a pentacle. There is some familiarity. There is the thing that sustains. So let's move over to this section now. So we got how this situation is being shaped. We've got Three of Wands here. So this is looking to the future. This is, I'm hearing waiting in the wings. There is a new, and waiting in the wings, that comes from the stage and performance, when there's characters that are about to come on to the stage, who are a new scene is about to begin, a scene in progress is about to be influenced by the people who are going to come on, and these new characters entering. So there's something that is waiting in the wings. It is the new turning point, the new scene, the next, what do they call it, acts in the theater, is poised to begin. These ships are coming in. He's looking to the future. And not the far future, the immediate future, about what is imminent. Imminent is the word here. So then we have the Moon card. So that, of course, speaks to the journey through the unknown, things being kind of hidden in shadow, still in secret. But of course, I was talking about the Pisces new moon as I pulled this card. This card can be associated with Pisces. Obviously, it's the moon. So wondering if we do have that potent moon on Wednesday, if maybe pay attention around that day to what's stirring up, if a message comes in, if there's some kind of shift in whatever your circumstances are, the environment, a relationship, whatever. Pay attention to what, has maybe been concealed in moonlight, or what, you catch a little glimmer of in the moonlight. Be attuned to the subtleties. Because, here we got the wings again, waiting in the wings. Be attuned to the periphery of what might be wanting to come in. Okay, so then here, Eight of Pentacles. So, speaking to sort of your hopes in the situation, or what this is moving towards, learning something new. This came out in the weekend as well, so this is definitely carrying through in a transition from what that reading was saying, if you want to look at the weekend reading from March 14th and 15th. This Eight of Pentacles here is building the dream. And I asked in that reading, sort of the King of Swords with, which again, King of Swords, I believe is still, yes, at the bottom of the stack here, was asking, This is a single vision, but what is that vision asking you to learn in order for it to come true? And I'm seeing that come through again here. So it's being mindful of what needs to be learned and a desire to do the work, a desire to learn the thing. This is kind of growing into the challenge a little bit. Challenge in a good way. Challenge, not an obstacle, but challenge as in, you know, being asked to grow and stretch a little bit, learning some new skills. And then we finish here with the Page of Wands and the Fool, which are somewhat similar energies. So well on the way into this new adventure, full of possibility, the beginning of a new cycle. And this Page of Wands here, you know, also a young energy, taking the initial actions, the initial energies and inspirations. We're basically ending at the beginning here. And I think that's a really beautiful place to be. As I said, didn't love where this reading starts, but do love where it ends. Getting to be innocent again. And there's something in that around embracing, I think I mentioned beginner's mind last week, and it's that, but more than that. It's, you know, you've been through it, everybody's got the wounds and the baggage, but you can still have a sense of wonder. You can still have that innocence despite what you've been through, and bring that sense of wonder to whatever is unfolding now, because it's going to be an adventure and it's going to come with the challenges. But that sense of wonder and play is going to make it grand. So I'm going to leave it there, and I will see you in the next reading. Have a wonderful week.